All right, let's talk about one single island that has somehow found itself right in the middle of a massive tug of war between two of the world's biggest superpowers. This is a story about geography, about technology, and, well, a really, really complicated history. So that brings us to the big question, right? Why? Why are the United States and China on what feels like a collision course over this one pretty small island? What is it about Taiwan that makes it so incredibly important that it could spark a global crisis? I mean, the situation right now is already incredibly tense. You've got Beijing conducting these increasingly aggressive military drills, basically drawing tighter and tighter circles around Taiwan. And on the other side, you have the United States stepping up its own military presence, running drills of its own. Neither side looks like it's going to back down. To really understand why this is all happening, you have to start with the most basic thing: the map. Taiwan's physical spot on the globe is probably the #1 reason it's become the center of this geopolitical storm. Just look at where it is. Taiwan is smack in the middle of three super important maritime passages. The Taiwan Strait, it's basically a superhighway for global trade. Almost all of the world's largest container ships sail right through it. Then you have the Miyako and Bashi Straits to the north and south. The bottom line is this: whoever controls Taiwan has enormous influence over these critical choke points. So, from China's perspective, this is all about access. As former Chinese diplomat Victor Gao puts it, Taiwan is like a giant cork in a bottle for them. It sits right off their coast, effectively blocking their navy from easily getting out and projecting power into the huge Pacific Ocean. Now, for the United States, it's the exact opposite. David Sachs from the Council on Foreign Relations explains that Taiwan is the absolute crucial link in what military strategists call the first island chain. Think of it as a string of U.S. allies, like Japan and the Philippines, that basically contains China's military ambitions. And right there, that perfectly sums up the standoff. For China, Taiwan is the gateway to becoming a true global naval power. For the U.S., it's a vital barrier that protects its allies and interests in the region. You've got two completely opposite goals, and they're both focused on the very same island. But hold on, this isn't just about ships and military bases. It's also about money. A lot of money. Taiwan's economic importance to the entire world is just staggering. Just take a look at this number, 90%. That number represents a near total global monopoly, and it's a monopoly on something our entire modern world absolutely depends on. Yep, 90% of the world's most advanced microchips, the tiny brains inside literally all of our electronics, are made in Taiwan. And most of them are made by just one company, TSMC. Both China and the US are completely reliant on this supply chain. And don't for a second think this is some abstract economic thing. We're talking about the chips inside the phone you're probably holding, the computer you work on, the car you drive. They're also in fighter jets, and they're essential for the future of AI. For the US, losing access to these chips, it would be a catastrophe. It could totally shift the global balance of power. Okay, but to really, really get to the heart of this, we have to go beyond maps and microchips. Because the tension we see today, it's really an echo of a long, painful history that shapes how both sides see this island. So let's do a quick rundown. Back in 1895, China was forced to hand Taiwan over to Japan. This was a huge blow, part of what China calls its century of humiliation. Then, after World War II, a massive civil war tore China apart. In 1949, the losing side, the nationalists, fled to Taiwan while the communists took over the mainland. Flash forward to 1979, and the US makes this huge switch and formally recognizes the communist government in Beijing as the government of China. And all of that led to this incredibly complicated diplomatic dance we call the One China policy. So here's the deal. The U.S. acknowledges Beijing's position that there's only one China and that Taiwan is part of China. But, and this is a huge but, it doesn't officially endorse that claim. It's this masterpiece of deliberate ambiguity designed to keep the peace, while the U.S. also sells Taiwan weapons to defend itself. Complicated, right? With all this talk of superpowers and grand strategy, it's so easy to forget the most important part: the 23 million people who actually live on Taiwan. And while the world is busy debating their future, they've been busy building a unique identity and society all their own. I mean, Taiwan has transformed itself into this really vibrant democracy. We're talking free elections, a free press, and a ton of civil liberties. It was actually the first place in all of Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. It's a democratic identity that stands in really stark contrast to the system on the mainland. So what's it actually like for the people living there? Well, it's complex. As this person says, a lot of people are pretty skeptical about relying so much on America. But at the same time, they feel like they don't really have another choice, especially when you're facing this immense pressure from Beijing. And that really gets at a feeling you hear a lot there. Many people in Taiwan feel like their own voice just gets completely drowned out by the shouting match between the US and China. There's this sense that they're not seen as a people with their own dreams, but just as a strategic piece on a giant chessboard. So that's where we are. You've got this perfect storm where strategic geography, vital technology, and the heavy weight of history all collide. For Beijing, this is about national pride and destiny. For Washington, it's about global order and influence. And for the people of Taiwan, well, it's simply about their home. And that leaves us with the one massive, unresolved question. In this high-stakes game, who actually gets to decide?